So, one thing that I think might be worth a quick visit is you might be wondering, all right, what in God green's earth is it going to take to level your statue? It's not an easy feat. Come to think of it, you look at this, but 2 million food? Did the math on this the other day. That's like a little over. Okay. Something north of like 1,300 or so seeds. And it's like, it's a lot. Like, you just take 1,400, basically just take 1,400, take 2 million divided by 1,400, and then you got to take that for every 3 hours per seed. Take that number and multiply it, and that's how much fertilizer you need. And assuming you average per day, say you're doing 20 a day, right? And you do it twice, so you get approximately 40 or so fertilizer free, right? And they're in 30-minute increments, not an hour. And say you get 1,400 to pop out of those, right? You're going to be short like 10 every day, so you'll have to pocket that through gems, right? Say you spend 1,500 gems every day then, times the number of days. It'd take like 135 days to get a little over 2 million food. Which doesn't sound right. But contrary to what I think a lot of people think is, what do you do to get higher level statue quickly? And I've thought over this, and I was like, I think the conversation has always been around like, well, okay, you can, basically just do the minimum requirement and basically just do your common fertilizer like this, max upgrade, and then start stashing your fertilizer and basically harvest it, send your seeds, rinse, repeat, and use the timer to your advantage, right? And then you go into crop steal and you go steal crops, right? And you just try to bank on as much of that as you can, as much as possible. Now, you may be thinking, well, hold on. How did you do 2 in those at a time? Well, that goes back to, once again, you need to be careful here, but the new clue, FYI, is in the class section here. It'll be at the top, in case you're wondering where that clue is for the day. But the other detail that I think is pretty important here, okay, is that if you're wanting to get your statue upgraded like relatively quickly, the one thing that stands out to me is you're going to need a really high gem count. And one of the ways you can do this, pretty much kind of like, free to play, you'd have to save your gems, right? And you can do that by watching these ad skips, and you'll get an ad, 100 gems every day, and then you take that on tandem with everything. But what you could do is you could actually go out and grab Joyful Farming for $5. And for 30 days, you're going to have, basically extra 1,000 or so gems, that you'll buy from the initial purpose. And then you're going to get some seeds. You're going to get better crop gains. You're going to be able to do more than one field at a time, and so on and so on, right? And that in tandem with, if you go over into parking wars, right, and you're doing your parking wars routinely, you'll notice that in the shop, that you've actually now got something called Dark Trials card, which you can use for your Dark Trials. There's Bountiful Harvest, which will give you 50% more fruit, and that you can do on a weekly limit of 3 times. So basically, for about 40,000 or so parking coins, you can rank yourself there too. So as soon as you say buy that, then you can go back and say, if you've got a lot of fertilizer, you can pop that off, get 30 collections, which is, 6 times 5, so basically 5 entire field collections, and you'll get all of those points, and you can do that 3 times a week. So, if that's 1,400 per field times 5, that's, a little over, right? 7,000 or so, right? I think it's right at 7,000. Right? But you take that then 6 times, you're getting a little over 42,000 or so just in the actual food production for that week, and you can do that 3 times. So you're really looking at almost 120,000 food that you can then get. And if you were to do that, say 3 times a week, and the average rotation on the prayer is, you want to go for like a mil or so, right? But that means that even if you're free to play or you're mild pay to play, you're going to get somewhere between 300,000 to 400,000 food in that given span of time. So to get anywhere upwards of 1 million or higher, you have to really dump a stupid amount into either getting a lot of premium seeds, or you're going to have to get a lot of fertilizer. And you can gem your way through fertilizer, and you can do a lot of that. I would say, if anything, if you want to be advantageous about it, right? I think the main thing is it's a cumulative type deal. You want to pick up, basically 5x of fertilizer every single day and 5x of your seeds. And then what you'll do is you'll eventually build up a stash, and then you'll burn that stash all at once. That way you're not trying to collect for just that week. You got to probably plan at least 2 to 3 weeks in advance. Because like I said, to rank, it's about 1 million, but like even in my server, it's like 2 million now. So if you want to be in the top 10, you've got to be like storing literally like probably in essence like 2 months in advance just to be able to compete. And that's assuming you don't spend. And so I point this out to those of you out there that are wanting to do your prayer rushes. And again, one thing that you can go to is look at the calendar, and you can see kind of like when the calendar's rush is going to be coming. So like for me, I know it's going to be on the 30th. So I got to prepare all the way till that point in time. And plus you got to do that for all the other rushes as well, But in essence, I hope that was somewhat helpful for you. Hopefully that helps you out with Prayer Rush in particular, and I'll see you guys next time. Oh, and also check this part of the video if you'd like to save some money.